Data stream should be live. Stream should be live. Just going to give it a couple more seconds, make sure everything is working as expected. Hello, I'm Fritz. As always, we're playing some more Historic Brawl, and I would like to open this stream with a brief story / explanation for this stream title. So, perhaps you haven't done this, but when I was in high school, but honestly it happened more in college, there was a thing we would do where we'd play a game. Now, if you've ever played the card game Spoons, or any version called Tongues, where it's like at the end of the game, everybody reaches out and takes an object or something and pulls it out. Or in the case of Tongues, everybody sticks out their tongue and goes like... And the last person to stick out their tongue loses, right? Where it's all about noticing that somebody else is doing this. But in college, we would play a game, and it worked like this, which is... It would start whenever somebody was like... just would go and then go like this. They'd hold their fingers to their ear like they've got one of those little headset things. And if you saw them doing this, everybody else would do this. And you would all do this until there was only one person left who wasn't holding up the fingers to the ear, at which point you would shout, "Get down, Mr. President!" And you would lunge and tackle that person. Don't worry, there's a beanbag there. I'm fine. And sort of just tackle that person to the ground with the implication that you're trying to stop them from being, like, assassinated or something. Anyway, that's the source of Get Down, Mr. President. And it's also basically the name of this deck. And the reason it's the name of this deck is because this is Hajar, Loyal Bodyguard. And Hajar is one of those weird, uncomfortable to build around commanders because they mostly rely on doing their thing by dying. In Hajar's case, he is 1 red, 1 green, and we can sack him to give legendary creatures we control +1/+0 and indestructible until the end of the turn. So this is always like the weird... I've made a couple decks for these before. Who's a good example? Vladimir and somebody. There's a couple others. Commanders that do stuff when they die or have death effects are difficult to build around because you have to recast them to do their thing. In Hajar's case, it's also very specific. So the way that we use Hajar is very simple. We're just going to ramp out as much mana as feasibly possible into tons and tons and tons of legendary creatures. Lannery Storm, Krenko the Tingpin, Annex, Azusa, Lucamina. You're not legendary. You aren't either. You're here for the second reason. Varus, Clothis, Savella, Delenia, all the way up to Inferno, the Star Mounts, Vorniclex, and Kogla. So there's 2 other tricks this deck has going for it, and you actually sort of saw one of them in Cemetery Prowler. But it's here with Cemetery Prowler, Cloud Key. There's a couple other examples of this, right? So it's all cost reduction, things that let us play cards faster. And then finally, we have a little bit of just big draw support. So Mind's Eye, Immortal Sun, Great Henge, Guardian Project is in here somewhere as a 4-drop. I'm not spotting it. Here we go. In draw support. And our game plan is to just try to blitz our opponent down as fast as possible. And that's how we're going to win. I think that I will also, every time I sacrifice a jar on stream, I will shout, "Get down, Mr. President," and dive out of my seat, because that seems mildly amusing to me, and I'm not even sure anybody else is going to watch this. If you hate that, please let me know in the comments, or I'll just see that my subscriptions go down after I make this stream. That said, let me do one more tiny thing before I punch us into our first game. Just need to do one little bit of technical management, which is to grab that, and so what else to talk about with this deck? I've been playing a fair amount. It is not fantastic. It's not terrible, but it's not awful. Hajar is usually not actually sort of the star player in this list, because you have to sack him to do too much with him. It's not to say he isn't valuable. It's just that he usually enables other folks to really provide a lot of value, because he can protect a decent portion of your board. That said, he also sometimes you'll just get nailed with removal really fast. So we'll see how any of this goes. And then if I do one more thing, do that there, and we are ready to stream. All right, and by stream I mean play some games. I'm thinking, so for next week I've already picked out one commander deck. I need to start working on it, but I haven't picked out the other ones. I may do the new alchemy commanders. At the end of the stream, I want to open up some historic Brawl. Not historic Brawl. I'm going to open up some Brothers War alchemy packs. And we'll see how that works out. Wow, there is no red. Free mulligan. That's much better. That's actually... This is a fairly good opening hand. Who are we into? Kethis? Another legendary-oriented commander. A good matchup. Kethis is interesting. I had a Kethis deck at one point. If it's not obvious from the stream, I don't really build any single deck and just, like, stick with it for a long period of time. There are some slight exceptions to that. I have taken certain decks and I have tweaked them over time. Usually ones that I intend to run in, like, the little tournament events. But I don't do it for too much else. Let's do that and end that. Because for a lot of the time, any time spent tweaking decks and doing stuff like that is time that I'm not doing this. And outside of playing this game, I also like playing, like, a billion other games. What are some other ones that are easy to list off? Yesterday I was playing Sea of Thieves. I still need to finish Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And then just play more of it because I just like Pokemon. Shadows Over Loathing. So that one has been all on stream. I found something incredibly cursed today that is probably... It's not demonetizable, right, if I just talk about it? Okay, so... Do not look this up if you don't like not safe for work stuff. I cannot be more possibly clear about this statement. If you do not want to go see something that is, without a doubt, like, pornography, do not go look up the thing I'm about to talk about. Cool? Great. Let's do that. I can do Guardian Project this turn, which I think is probably the right call. Anyway, it's like a weird... It was like someone was like, hey, you know what would be great if we had a farming... If we combined, like, a farming sim and... Like, a farming sim and a porn game, but we gave it, like... I haven't played this yet. I've just seen the description for it, and they're like, yeah, we've included all the technical maneuverability of games that you love, like bunny hopping from Counter-Strike and surf maps. But we've also included, like, a weird breeding system. And this is also a furry game. It's called Cobalt Care. So, that was a thing I saw today that exists. I'm not trying to say that everybody should, like, go out and play it right now. It's more just... Okay. Alright, if I want to do Atsushi, I can do... Can't do Enix in the Forge yet. I would like to do Replicating Ring... into Mind Stone. I'm just going to keep hitting face because I kind of need to. I'm hoping they don't do the double chump, but if they do, they do. I'll do a Tsushi next turn. Alright. That's ideal, actually. Alright, Atsushi. We'll get another card. Rockvale Vale. We'll do Mind Stone now, so we have a little bit more mana to work with. Anyway, that was a thing I saw today. And that's, definitely a thing that exists. I don't know what else to say about it. What else? Was there anything else interesting today outside of that? There definitely was. Went running this morning. Weather's much nicer out. Kind of do not like running. So it's weird, right? The one bright side to running in, like, sort of cold, snowy weather is that at least the ground is hard. The downside to that is that sometimes the ground is hard and it is also ice. So I haven't, like, wiped out yet this year, but I feel like it's got to happen at some point. I am just going to mistake some piece of pavement for ground, like just normal ground. I'm going to step on it and my leg's just going to be like, surprise, swoop. Not looking forward to that. Snow Permanent, Legendary, or Saga. What are they going to go grab? I'm not sure. So I have 4 in the air. I can play Annex to draw another card. I'll get another card off the top of the turn. I might just do Onyx because I'll have a bunch of 1/1s to swing in with, even if they board wipe. Anyway, weather. Weather is warmer today. But the downside to that is that the path I run on has, like, a small subsection that is basically dirt. And walking on that, like, you don't lose your footing, but you just sink into it a little bit. Oh, and it was pouring out. But honestly, running in the rain is great because then you don't feel, like, you don't overheat. and you're also like, yeah, this is such a struggle against nature, as opposed to running in the rain when it's perfectly dry out, and you're like, yeah, this sucks. This whole thing sucks so much, and I'm just not in good shape. Let's see, replicating link. Let's do Onyx first. Get some more cards. Another forest. Replicating ring. I'm gonna hold line up the shot for the moment. I may as well just go in face again. We'll see if they try to do the same chump block and take 4. Ooh, Captain Sasai though. That'll let them. Okay. I don't have hard removal for that. So I think I'm probably on a clock now, unfortunately. Once this comes out and they start searching for stuff with it. Voice Jazu Who Endures, they got 5 mana. Yeah, it's only my legendary creatures, but I don't. Oh yeah, I'm obligated to get down, Mr. President. That won't become an annoying gag by the end of the stream. I am absolutely positive. 5 and 4 and 9 is 2. I'm off by 1, but I can get 1 back by replaying, increasing my devotion to 1. 6 and 2, that's lethal. Anyway, outside of the weather. So the reason I'm starting to stream a bit earlier than I thought I was going to is because I need to go food shopping really badly. I have eaten nothing but pizza all week. And it's really tasty pizza. Like, it's good pizza, but I've eaten nothing but pizza. And that cannot be... Pizza is not a food group. There's no little triangle where it's like, yeah, so you've got, like, milk, and salad, and pizza, like fruits and vegetables. It's kind of weird that milk is its own category. Because isn't all that, like, milk and, like, yogurt... I remember seeing somewhere a while ago that the food pyramid is kind of bunk. But I also did not, like, go and try to fact-check that. So... who are we playing into? Feather the Redeemed. Oh, God. Okay, so turn 3 is going to be frustrating. Do I just do 1-2 into Feldon? And just try to kick the crap out of him? Clothis would be... This is also, like, I feel like a weirdly bad... No, you know what? Let's do this. So... Whatever you cast... Yeah. Exile that card instead. Okay, so that does not help me. Because it's a replacement effect and not a on-trigger effect, I can't actually hit the graveyard with this. But let's do Feldon anyway. This game might go quite badly. Yeah. I might have to sneeze. 1 second. Also, that's quite well statted, especially if they have the mana for it already. Pass my turn. There's not much I can do except to sacrifice the Soul Guide Lantern for no reason. But yeah, I need to get groceries. I'm out of groceries. I have eaten only pizza all week. Pizza's not a food group. So that's got to be fixed. I could do Cold Steel Heart, which ETB's tapped. I could do Savella, which ETB's tapped. I could do Relic of Legends into Cold Steel Heart, which might be better. Because I'm thinking that right now, based on what I'm seeing, I'm going to have to just try to outrun them. So we'll do green on Cold Steel Heart. And we'll just try to outrun them on mana. So right now we're at like 6. I can do Savella, and Savella's ability I can't tap to do next turn, but I could do Savella and Hajar, or I could do Savella and Clothis. Maybe Clothis would be better. If I'm... Oh, interesting. So they're doing... Okay, so maybe they don't have 2 white sources yet. We'll have to see. Forsaken Crossroads. Unfortunately, I was the first player, so that's going to ETB tapped. Scry 1, Chromatic Lantern. I'm actually going to keep that there for the moment. Let's do Hajar. And then let's do Shavella. And then I can technically do Clothis, so why not? Oh, I mean, yeah, not even... Why not? Now I have a 4/5. So does this give... No, it's just indestructible. It's not hexproof. I probably should have included some more of that. And it looks like they got their... Yep, they got their last white source, which isn't great for me. Are they going to do second? No, they didn't. So they can't not have... Alright, so I could do your 8, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, let's do it. Bard class, Haywire Might, Varus, Silvermoon Ranger. Dies, you gain 2 life. You may cast... Yep, okay, so it is a cast effect, so I'm doing Bard class. Let's see if they block. I don't think they will. Now, the downside is we are playing into white, so there's always Swords to Plowshares to worry about. As long as, what is it, Later Rest? That's the other new one. There's a couple others, aren't there? I'm not remembering them off the top of my head, but in that one white drop vein, whenever you cast the target to creature you control. Alright, let's activate this now. Yep. And now they'll do their second ability. No, or they'll just burn Lightning Bolt. Oh, and give me 3 cards. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. These are all great. I'll take Vorniclax. So that does mean I just gave up Krenko and Atsushi, which makes me a little depressed. On the other hand, Vorniclax is going to hopefully kick their ass. Which is maybe an optimistic statement, but you know, that's what it is. Okay, can I... If I do play this, it'll force them to use a second piece of removal on him, right? Like, there's no... You don't get an option going into Vorniclax. It's just like, yep, I'm going to try to murder this now. Alright. Gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. Okay. Oh, so it enters with. That's a little aggravating. I would tap... let's do Chromatic Lantern. Let's tap 1. Let's tap 1. Let's tap 2. And we'll see where this is going to go next. Legendary spells cost 2 less. I should have probably done that. Can I activate that right now? I would give up 2 mana. I would tap down Klothys. Klothys is only good as a blocker on the ground. I will do it, but I will tap down Vorniclax instead. Let's do... Auto pay and tap down you. See if it baits any hard removal. Next. Nope. No attacks. End turn. And they get that back. That's kind of obnoxious, but right now it only gives it lifelink and indestructible. But it still does give it lifelink and indestructible. The new commanders... the one thing I haven't looked into too much, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll do a video on this, was the new historic... What is it? It's not... Historic Anthology. The new Historic Anthology 2. Is it Historic Anthology or Pioneer Anthology? Whatever the new one is that added Wastes. And also Ulamog. Is it Ulamog or is it... It's one of the other dudes, isn't it? Regardless, that had a bunch of interesting cards in it. I think I ran into a bunch of them on, like, Monday's stream. Cool. Lupamina. So let's start with this. Does this get me anything? Oh, yes. He'll enter as a 5/5. That's kind of a thing. Now let's do Lupamina. Please get me a green land. Please get me a green land. That's a red land. Not what I wanted. I also can't well, I can't specialize them yet anyway, so. No, I could have, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Why couldn't I have specialized you? Maybe they... I might be missing something. Whatever. Alright, next to combat. So, this is put a 1-1, it gains lifelink and indestructible. Let's swing in with these two and see what happens. I'm assuming that some funky untapped stuff is going to occur. Yep, I was right. So, let's see what you do for blockers. Yep. The fact that I can't get rid of those without getting rid of you. So what did you do? And I also want to look at this. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, you do return to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I want to tap an untapped creature. I want to add green. Tap you. Activate your ability. Turn you to the command zone. Do I have enough to do this? I think I do. Tap an untapped legendary creature you control. So I should have swung in with Ranam, actually, if I was going to do this properly. Bit late now, though. Oh, let's get this. And let's get rid of you. Pretty sure you are... Oh, you're not indestructible. I could have done 9, 7... I would have given up... Well... Okay, so I just misplayed that. I should have just tried to kill Feather. I have a decent board state, though. But they've got a lot of pump spells, and they can just keep Feather in the air and choke me out with that. It's gonna be spicy. It's gotta be spicy. What do I do into this? They're not really playing any other things. They're kind of dealing with Bard class, but not really. They can just pump Feather and then just punch my face. Okay. They spent a little bit of spells. So they've only got... They can just keep doing Take Up the Shield, though. But that only gives them one chumper. Oh, or they'll just... Or they'll... I didn't do the Get Down Mr. President thing. You know what? I'm not committed to that bit. As amusing as it would be to just shout it into the mic, that's not necessarily who I am. I'm sorry. I failed you, but... What time is it? 6:30? Awesome. We'll do some more games. The issue with this deck is that if the games go late and it doesn't get that big mana ramp advantage, or doesn't have like a tool to somehow pull out more cards. So far I think we've had Guardian Henge and... Not Guardian Henge. We've had Guardian Project and Sevelia. But if it runs into decks where it doesn't have some... and it doesn't get that draw support, it can just sort of run out of like energy and just shut down. Just dies. Oh, crud. So this is the new commander. And people have been telling me he's pretty good. And I don't have hard removal for him. This is not a fantastic hand. He is kind of, but not quite, Knight Tribal. It's like self-inflicted Knight Tribal, I think might be the best way to describe it. So we'll just go over him real quick. So this is Roderick Tal Zealot, hexproof from white, hexproof from black. Whenever one or more knights you control attack, draft a card from his spellbook. And his spellbook is like... How many cards are in it? Yeah, it's like 9 out of 10 of those the cards in his spellbook are really good. Like, almost everything is a hit. Let me give you an example. Midnight Reaper, that's a hit. Guardian of Faith, kind of meh. Knight of the Ebon Legion, that's a hit. Cavalier of Dawn, that's a hit. Baelish Marshal, mixed. Cavalier of Night, that's a hit. Murderous Rider, that's a hit. But you might have noticed that in the... 3 of these are just removal spells. He has 3 removal spells. Just built in to his thing. I'm not sure if there are any more. So we got Cavalier of Night, Murderous Rider, Order of the Sun. Get back your removal spell. Claim Contender, it's better in Knight Tribal. Dauntless Bodyguard. Yeah, protect your commander and then just get more stuff. Valiant Knight. Knight Tribal. Smitten Swordmaster. Hey, they have a too big of a wall. Why don't you just, you know, build board state and steal all their life? Blacklands Paragon. Effectively hard removal. History of Benalia. Knight Tribal. Circle of Loyalty. Knight Tribal and more creatures. You might sense a pattern here. The pattern is that he's very good. Let's do Elvish Mystic. And then let's do Blackblade Reforged. And then we'll just punch in for another 2. I think all of the new historic Brawl commanders, people have been saying they've done some pretty good stuff with them. Been watching people chat about it on the Discord, and a couple different places, everybody's like, yeah, these are good. These are very good. Let's do... So I could do Helm of the Host and equip next turn, or I could have just put the Blackblade onto this guy, which is what I'm going to do instead, and turn him into a 6/6. I don't want to attack with you. Alright, so that's probably just going to be used for ramp. Let's play this with my last bit of mana. End the turn. See what happens next. Exile, choose one of them. You may play that card. Okay, so he can hit land spells. Okay, so I'm assuming that they are sitting on... Alright, let's go to combat. If I Helm of the Host, I probably will Helm of the Host for Hajar. But the other thing about Helm of the Host is it does not make legendary copies. So... Oh, you know what I should have done? I could have lined up the shot last turn, but whatever. I didn't, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Alright, let's crack out Helm of the... next to damage. There's another. Let's crack out Helm of the Host. What do these cost? They're 2... I don't have the mana to do either of them. We'll just end the turn. If they do, like, a full board wipe, I'll just sack Hajar. But that will get rid of the Blackblade, unfortunately. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see the 6-drop board wipes come out. But I'd still have a 2/2 that will give me some... that can generate some form of card advantage. Which isn't great. They'd have a pretty heavy hand coming back. We'll just have to see how it cracks out. This is kind of what I mean, though, right? Like, Hajar is good. Like, right now, he's just sitting there. He's being a big threat in that they have to deal with him before they deal with Feldon. And if they don't hard remove him, yep. XX is 5. I'm going to activate this ability now. It doesn't actually make a difference. But it does mean that they will get... I will lose only 1 less life. I should have done line up the shot first. Okay. I can't think of a reason to not just hit them for another 9, except they might have another just removal spell about to crack out. So maybe I should have played Hajar again. Maybe not. Looks like they're going to try to chump block the board. Man, you didn't even conjure that. Alright, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. And let's go to combat. Do any of these have lifelink? I don't think so. So we're just going to punch in. I have 2 forests. Let's do that. Let's grab you. Hexproof from artifact and enchantments. I don't think there's a reason to not play that. End turn. So right now we're just going to try to punch through. 4 clacks. Blackboard will reforge just 3. We want him enough for both. Here he comes. Looks like they're just trying to stall out board state. Ooh. Eternal Knights from your graveyard to the battlefield. That's not very many knights yet, but it could become a lot. Only have 4 life yet left, though. I would like that there. So... what do I play? Vorklax is kind of a big threat. And they'll have to spend a fair amount to chump block him fully. And 2 damage at a minimum is going to get through. So there's that, there's that. You gotta chump. You gotta chump for Vor. You can't do anything else. Oh, they'll chump for Vor, they'll put him into the graveyard and bring him back with Knight's Charge. I may have miscalculated here. I like the Praetors, though. Okay, so the new Praetor, the new Elish Norn, I do not love new Elish Norn. Elish Norn is cool, but I do not love that card mechanically. It's not as cool as I would like it to be. I think I griped about this a little bit on stream, but... Oh, hey, a mountain. What did I lose? Yeah, I lost some other decent stuff. I still have Kogla in hand, so that's a useful trick. I would not be... Oh, they shouldn't have... Oh, man. I feel like you could have just chumped there, buddy, and gotten what you wanted. If they don't hard remove Vorklax, I will just move the Black Blade Reforged onto him, and I think that'll probably be lethal. Or it might not be lethal. We will find out. Let's conjure Naturalize. We can use that to get rid of Circle of Loyalty. And we're just going to put the Black Blade onto the other Praetor. I will leave that there. Alright, we're just going to put the Black Blade onto Vorklax. I'm pretty sure that's a good game. We're going to put the helmet onto Vorklax because it is funny. And then we're just going to swing it and try to get lethal. Hey, there goes another one. Okay, but yeah, the new Elish Norn, that, like, everybody seemed to be losing their mind over it. But in terms of things that trigger effects, maybe not when ETBing. Let me go look at the card again. Maybe I, It's just not as cool. It's just not that cool. Where's the new card? Elish Norn, Grand Cenobite, New Phyrexia? This one? Nope, that's the one that was already printed. Yeah, and they're printing like 5 versions of the card, but I'm gonna be real, I don't care. Let me go find the... Here, let's go with this version. I like this version because this is the version that Junji Ito did. So give me a second and I will pull this up and I will talk briefly about why I don't really love it relative to a bunch of other stuff. I wonder if I can just... I don't suppose... Let me try something. Can I do this? Let's try it. Okay, so that added, like, more than I wanted, but that was generally the right... Can I make this big enough without... Yeah, so we'll get rid of it in a second. A permanent entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger. That ability triggers an additional time. Permanents entering the battlefield don't cause abilities of permanents your opponents control to trigger. So, I have mixed feelings on this, / I'm not very excited about it, because one, it's mono white. Like, okay, you can double all of the very impressive abilities of mono white cards. Hooray! I'm not saying that those don't exist. It's just that the ones that I can think of that are meaningful are mostly things like... Let me go take a quick look. I'm probably missing stuff, but it's stuff like life gain, or in the example, like the most meaningful example that popped out to me were all the enchantments that exile stuff when they ETB. So where's a good example? Not Hushbringer. Oh, Circle of Confinement sort of counts. Let me find a better one, though. Sarah G. Shelter. 10th District. Archon of Emeria. Citizen's Arrest. So yeah. Okay, so all Citizen's Arrests, Banishing Lights, all of these equivalents, they can hit 2 targets now. The problem with that is that the other thing that white does, Borrowed Time, is that white has spells like Planner Cleansing and Doomscar and Hour of Revelation. So I just don't love how Elish Norn is going to interact with those, right? Because again, you're building around, so I'm just speaking for Historic Brawl. You're building around mono white. 4/7 for 5, that is a fine stat line. Vigilance, that's cool. The ability itself, though, does not seem super powerful, right? Because I'm comparing it to, like, Jin-Gitaxias, Voraclex. To be fair, it's definitely better than Urabrask. Urabrask's ability sucks. Urabrask ability is your opponent has to play cards and they draw them for 1 card per turn, and you sort of get to draw, but not quite, an extra card each turn. It's not even you get to draw an extra card each turn. It's you get to do the same thing your opponent did with 1 extra card each turn. Extus, Auric Overlord. But yeah, so the new Elish Norn, it does not spark joy. It sparks mild annoyance. And I'm not particularly impressed by it. I don't know, it could have been really cool, right? But I don't feel like it's an exciting enough effect in its colors for me to be like, oh man, this is so cool. Voraclex, it's like, oh, I can use this to like double counters on planeswalkers that come into the battlefield. Let's do Plaza of Heroes. I should have done Forsaken Crossroads. Let's double the number of counters on planeswalkers as they enter the battlefield. Let's double the... Let's do a mountain, and let's do Jaheira. So Voraclex doubled counters on planeswalkers. Jin-Gitaxias, hey, let's cast, you know, let's go cast Time Warp twice. Urabrask just sucks. There's another color in Magic. Shieldred is like, hey, you know drawing cards, that thing that happens every turn? What if that was even better for you and even worse for your opponent? And Jin-Gitaxias, and this one is just like, yeah, I'm here. Doing stuff. It does not spark joy. It sparks mild apathy. Not the same thing as joy. This is interesting, because usually Extus decks are swarm creatures into sacrificing everything for Awaken the Blood Avatar, and this person hasn't played anything in their first 3 turns. Which means I probably should have played more aggressively, but I didn't, and now I'm here, and that's bad. That's annoying. Well, let's cast Relic of Legends. I'm hitting all of my removal and none of my just kill them. Disrupt 1 target artifact or enchantment. Disrupt 1 target artifact or enchantment. Put +1s and stuff on things. So actually, this is a good example of what happens when this deck just kind of like whiffs, basically. Where all of a sudden we're in a position where we can't do as much as I would like, because I don't really have any draw support. And the deck has a fair amount of draw support, and in this case, Search for Greatness can sort of be tech support, but it is not going to get me more cards out of my deck to cast. It's just going to let me manipulate what I have. It'll be interesting to see if they actually attack in here. They are. So they probably feel pretty confident they can do some stuff. Maybe, okay, so these two cards as support cards fit well with the archetype of this deck. Maybe they just hit all of their bombs instead of getting the other cards that they wanted. That would kind of make sense. Bottom of the deck. Replicating Ring is going to start counting up. If I swing in with everything, what happens? They block. That's terrible. Alright, Forsaken Crossroads. I pick red, so that I have 2 red sources. Scry 1. Still awful. Bottom of the deck. Ronos ought to provoke some sort of support. Like, he's a 5/5 Death Touch. If nothing else, he will be mildly obnoxious. I need to do quick maths. Oh yeah, I can just swing in with everybody because I have enough mana. Yeah, next to damage. Why not block with both, though? If you're going to sack them both, why not block with both? How close are they to Awaken the Blood Avatar? They're still a bit off. Decline, end turn. This is whenever you cast it, opponent sacks a creature, whenever it attacks, deals 3 damage. Farewell. Exile all artifacts, enchantments, and creatures, except for graveyards. Is there anything valuable I can do in response to this? If I sack a Hajar, it makes no difference, right? And Rona does not care. So, Rohannes, yes, I will take action. Hey, look, it's another freaking mountain. Alright, so I'm kind of out of juice at this point. That's bad. There's not too much I can do to outside of just top decking here, right? Ethereal Absolution is nice for them. They'll have enough mana to start doing big impressive stuff. If I play Magda, it'll instantly die, so there is 0 reason to do that. Because I will just be giving them a target to remove from the graveyard in exchange for having more sack fodder. I wouldn't be surprised if they just hardcast Blood Avatar here. Waiting like 1 turn might not be a bad idea, but... And they can just do the -3, create 3/3/2s, or 2/3/2s, excuse me. Yep. And now I'm just going to get overwhelmed by tokens. That's unfortunate. There's nothing I can do about that. No attacks, end turn. I'd played a little bit more aggressively. Maybe I should have played Hajar on turn 2, get some extra damage in, instead of Jaheira. But it looks like they may have been holding off on playing things like Fable the Mirror Breaker and ETH Absolution until Jaheira was dealt with. I guess if I'd gotten Fable the Mirror Breaker with Jaheira earlier, though, that would have been a decent trade. It's not even a trade, it's just like free in exchange for a card. Well. Okay, yeah. So they're setting up to do Blood Avatar. Ah, crap. This is kind of a tricky position. I don't have any single card that gets me out of this situation. I don't have any... Do I have lifelink? Inferno the Skymount, even if it comes out, will not last particularly long. And these have reach. So that's a problem. So, yep, creature you control gain Death Touch. Lovely. And I can't block that without double blocking. Well. It's not great, but it's better than literally nothing. Does give them another token, though. Target creature you control, target creature you don't control. Get rid of your moth. It's going away. Oh man, I'm starting to lose out on energy, aren't I? I'll attack. Get rid of Lolith. So I expect to see a block. Yep. And it doesn't matter though, they just get more. They can just regenerate the same number of dudes again. I think attacking was a mistake. I think I destroyed the right creature, but actually it's following it out with an attack was a bad idea. Oh boy. Yeah, I have no outs. Is that true? Do I have any return all non-lands? No. Now I gotta sack this dude. Yep. And that is 8 damage, 9, 10, 11, and 6. That's lethal. Doesn't matter. Alright. Yeah, so this is an example of what happens when the deck kind of bricks, right? If it doesn't get any of the draw support cards, like the draw support cards, it can just sort of keep chaining big stuff together, using Hajar to protect it, but that's lethal. It would have been lethal even with just the blood avatars. We'll do a few more games. The other plan was for this stream to be at 7 and not ending around 7. But we'll do a couple more games. I got my quest done. I just got to get out and get food shopping, because otherwise, if I don't do that, I'm just going to order pizza again, and that will be like the 6th pizza this week. Which would be bad. Which would be real bad. Let's see. Colorless Brawl is unplayable with wastes. Brawl deck creation bugs out. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Okay. Who are we playing into? Clothis? This is not a great... I'm mulliganing that. It doesn't have... This is also not great, but technically better for weird reasons. Alright, let's do that. Let's do that. Turn 2 has to be Hajar, because we're going to try to do something really weird. Which is, we need Hajar to die. And... Alright. If we can get Minsk and Boo out, though, that would actually be kind of big. Incubation Druid, yep. Can I put this in this deck? I probably should. That would be a good addition. We're a couple off Kogla. Ooh, that's... They just ramped to a lot of mana with that. So Goblin Arachnomancer would be... Do I want to do Fade from History? No, I want to do Minsk and Boo first, and then I'll do Fade from History. Where that's power. I want to attack. I want to attack. Because I think that will make them be like, oh, but how can I kill Minsc and Boo? And if that redirects their attention... Okay, yes, so Fade from History and holding off on Fade from History. Very good choice on my part. I'm so smart. Let's see who they target with the second copy. I mean, they gotta... Have they not picked a target? So they are targeting Minsc and Boo with the second copy. Alright. Okie dokie. I am a little unclear on what you just got out of that. Alright, time to do something awful. Hi, I have a 14-14. Sorry, 14 whatever. And that's game! Woo! I don't know, it's a fun deck. It's not particularly stable, but I do think it's a lot of fun. Oh. I think this was a good enough stream that I will actually post it to the subreddit. So before I close everything down, I really hope I haven't been streaming with the... Yeah, I haven't. Before I close everything down, let's open some packs. I am hoping to see... I actually got a Gix in a Brawl draft yesterday, so that was fun. I'm hoping to see some more... I already had one of you. Hoping to see some more of the commanders. Chroma Lantern. Hey, another mythic rare, so at least that can be turned into a commander. Pixian Infiltrator. That seems kind of unlikely. I'll take it, though. Oh, that's... Okay. So, fun story. I asked in the competitive Brawl Discord, and I was like, alright, I'm out of inspiration for next week. Who is the worst commander in Historic Brawl in Brothers War? And everybody's like, it is this card. It is Liberator. Urza's Battlethopter. So, preview for next week. This is Monday's commander. And opening this right now is very convenient for me, because now I don't have to spend a wild card on it. Temporal Anchor. I already had that, sadly. What else we got? Tyrant of Care Ridges. Let's see. It's kind of boring. It's just a 4/5 with Fire Breathing for 6. I'd be more excited about this, except I already have Mox Amber. So getting a second one doesn't do too much. Pristine Talisman. What do we got in the rare slot? Autonomous Assembler. I played against this guy yesterday. He dunked me in the draft that I was talking about. I like him. So there's... I feel like there's a fun assembly worker deck, but we'll see. Perilous Iteration. Discard those cards at the beginning of next step. I liked this card. I thought it was kind of decent. I like Piece Together. Let's see what our rare is. Tormacall Phoenix. I like this card. I like this card. I feel like this is going to be very fun in red. I like Tormacall Phoenix. Let's see what we got in here. Another Perilous. We already have that one. We got a... What's our comment? I already have a copy of this guy. This is the other guy I'm planning on using. Just because I think you could do some really fun, funky stuff with him. Sylvan Smite. Elspeth's Command. I drafted a copy of this. I think it's a really good card. I like Perpetual effects, honestly. Target you control, if you weren't the starting player, then it deals damage to target power. I already thought this was good. This I also had already had a copy of, unfortunately. Scrap Trawler. I already had... I'm pretty sure this is a reprint at a higher rarity slot than what already existed in Arena. Okay, what do we got? Assemble the team. Search the top third for a card. I was not enthused by this, but nice to have it. Melt Through. It's fine. I'm not... It'll be played, right? Because it's a Spark equivalent, but... Argothian Uprising. This I'm excited for. This, I think there's some really, like, there's some hot garbage you can do with this card. What's our rare? Door to Nothingness. Oh, I already crafted that. I crafted that for the other terrible stream. Assemble a team. Tanos Endures. Cool. I'm happy to get that one. And a rare wild card. So no commanders yet, unfortunately. Chromatic Star. I don't have one because I just don't like it. Another Hercule's Prodigy. Lonely End. This is just a worse version of, like, the Heartless Execution, right? Because it doesn't even necessarily... Okay. This is good. I am not... I am excited for this card. I think it will do very well against Kinnan, so I'm excited to include it. But again, it is not a commander. Patch Plate Resolute. I think this guy's perfectly good. Hey, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Second, I'm going to mute that for a moment. And... Luigi Antiquarian. I think there's something fun you can do with it, but probably not in this format. Quiet as Spike. Alright. Quiet as Spike is interesting. I am not... Apparently it's like a commander semi-staple, but I don't have any plans for its use in Historic Brawl, because we start with a lot less total life. Let's see. Yeah, that's everything. So... that's going to be today's stream, as always. If you stopped by, thanks for watching. If you like my stuff, please subscribe. If you've got any thoughts, feedback, please let me know. I'd be excited to hear it. Until next time, take care, and I'll talk to you then.